we away? Because the pause button was on. Yes, we're away. We're back, my hensmen.
After a week.
No. As far as they know, this could be all times of time. They could not keep us off the internet.
No.
We're like a pirate radio station.
Despite running out of releases to review.
The people were just so... In case you don't know, the internet, we used to do the Motorhead podcast, the only monthly podcast...
It was.
Let me get to it. The only Motorhead monthly podcast online, but then someone started doing the Motorhead podcast who was official, and they started getting guests and talking about actual Motorhead history. So, and then we reviewed all the albums we needed to do.
Yeah, we reviewed all the studio stuff, not like the outtakes or. So, yeah. There's still a few bits out there.
If the internet clambers for, we can always go back, but. We were saying we need a new challenge, something more exciting, something different, something to get a whole new audience. And then my hensman had this idea. What's the idea, Ma?
Yeah, so this might not work out, so this could be the one and only pilot of this. But we were wanting to take things back. It's all too easy now to just stream whatever you want.
Don't know the born. Don't know the born.
You don't know you're born. You do not know you're born. Having to go to a shop. And look in the shop.
File through the CDs. Who's put the Celine Dion CD in here next to the Carcass CD? That doesn't make sense.
It doesn't. So, yeah, back in the day, you'd have to go to the shop or the record store, whatever. You might have an idea of what release you want, but like it's not like you could just go and list it, apart from those shitty listening booths.
Oh, I remember listening booths, yeah.
Yeah, they never had anything good in there.
No, it was always top 40 stuff. You're a metalhead kid. Do you want to see what's happening in that section? You're rolling through. You've been told you need to get your hands on, the Motorhead best of. But as you're walking by, you see a fucking album with a flaming skull, and you're like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I wonder what that sounds like.
I wonder what that's about.
But it's like you're rolling the dice, aren't you? Because it's like, have you got a tenner to potentially waste on this potential pile of shit?
Who knows?
Or what? And it like going back, like what favorite album, or just name a few albums that you like just off the top of your
head. Alice Cooper, Welcome to My Nightmare.
Yeah, like where he's got the top hat and the cane and everything.
Yeah, and he's standing like this cool triangle shape.
Yeah.
So it just looks like an emblem. You're like, something's going on here.
Yeah.
This looks like a musical, but it's Alice Cooper. I want to find out more.
Exactly, like loads of iconic albums, like. You almost say the album name and you picture the album rather than...
Every Motorhead album?
Rather than picturing the songs on it. I mean, like, I've named a few, like Screaming for Vengeance.
Oh, that fucking badass eagle.
Yeah,
dude.
Yeah, Master of Puppets. I know you're not a Metallica fan.
But I still know that cover.
The cover, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, Number of the Beast.
Number of the Beast, of course.
Holy Diver.
Holy fucking Diver.
Yes. All of this, like... sold off the back of just the cover.
But those were the good covers.
Yeah. So the whole point of this is to basically this gives us carte blanche to basically review anything as long as we haven't really heard anything by the band or the artist.
So we are going in blind, as it were, but really we're going in deaf.
Yeah. We're judging the book by its cover.
Yes.
Or we're trying
they say
to
you shouldn't do.
Yes.
But we don't play by the rules because we're cool.
Yeah. So, yeah, technically we should be buying the albums with shit covers and then reviewing them.
Some of them do look pretty shitty.
Yeah, they do. But there's something interesting there that's like, ooh, what the fuck is this? So, yeah, we've decided to call it Schrodingers Track.
Schrodingers Tracks.
It could be good, it could be shit.
There's it, because you don't know, do you? It exists in a perfect state of being right now.
Yeah.
It's intriguing. It could be one way, it could be the other. Are we going to say which one we're going to do?
It could be. So today we are on the inaugural or pilot or first ever Schrodingers Track. We are going to review an album called Gross Misconduct by M.O.D. And there's probably lots of people listening to this who are like, how the fuck have you never heard of M.O.D?
Well,
just for whatever reason, I may have seen the name somewhere, I may have seen an album somewhere, but I've never got around to listening to them, or they've never been at the forefront to like go and listen to them.
Yeah, no one's ever mentioned the name to me.
No, I'll have seen it somewhere on various wikis or like in books and stuff. So the idea of this, we'll have a look at the cover, give us thoughts, any clues that are on there, which we'll get to in a second. Then we'll listen to side A, the album, like totally deaf, as it were. Then we'll do like 5 minutes wikiing, see if we can find out anything interesting. Review the side B, and then just give final thoughts. So, do you want to describe the cover?
I should say before we get in, if you are listening to this, you can't see the cover. Your options are to go onto the social media, which I will drop in now. The Schrod Pod does not have any social media apart from Instagram, because fuck Twitter, and that handle for Instagram is at Schrod Pod. That's SCHRODPOD. Once again, one word, that's SCHRODPOD. To go directly to tophatsandcanes.com where this podcast is hosted, and there will be a picture in the display, to Google it yourselves, or to just go into Top Hats and Canes YouTube where there will be a video of this podcast.
There we go.
Yes.
So
the cover for the first album that we are going to look at. You understand why I'm laughing if you are looking at the video of this episode, because it is a shark in a judge wig banging a gavel at a very scared-looking red-headed boy. It's a judge shark. Those are the things that jump out straight away.
Yeah,
there's more detail in there.
Yeah, the lad's cowering, isn't he?
So there's a lot of things I want to talk about already. My first thought is the cowering boy looks like the kind of like anti-drug warning kind of image, doesn't he?
He's not dressed for court, is he?
He's not dressed for court. No wonder the judge is banging the gavel at him.
Yeah, I mean, his jeans. Has he even got a belt on the jeans?
He's got the belt on the jeans.
No, he has got a belt. At least he's worn a belt.
Creepily long arms.
That's
what makes him look like a heroin junkie. And then gross misconduct is in the corner there, which is pretty. Above the gross misconduct thing is three skeleton chaps pictures wearing top hats. I guess they're meant to be Uncle Sam, but
Possibly,
they don't have like the beardy.
Yeah, they're doing the
because they're skulls, and they're doing the see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil thing, which is not a thing that happens in courts.
No,
it's just not a thing. They got that confused with the blind lady justice thing, and they ran with it.
Yeah. Actually, reminds me of a point which we'll get onto in a bit.
The main point, apart from the fact that the shark looks like he's fucking stoked to be sentencing this young teenager's death with his grim teeth, is right. The band name, M.O.D, is in the corner there. You can hardly see it.
Yeah,
you can hardly make that out.
The album name and the band name are part of the background. They do not stand out at all.
They should have put the M.O.D on his little judge's table.
Yeah, on the front of his desk.
Or just above where it says gross misconduct.
It is right at the back. I mean, when it's
literally in shadow.
Yeah,
and it's a drawing. They've chosen to put that in shadow. Why would you make that choice?
Yeah, it is very odd. I mean, when I found this, I was browsing through Discogs, and it was a toss up between this and another album by M.O.D called Surfing M.O.D, which is.
I assume there were sharks on that as well.
Yeah, the shark was like eating the surfer, but it was kind of
rad.
This is more absurd. Like, there are some details on it that I like, though. Obviously, the way the shark is gripping the gavel, with its fin wrapped around it. The other thing I like, if you look at the back of his gown, they've ripped a hole in the gown for the fin to go through.
There's a texture rip.
Yeah, but it is like, it's an eye-catching cover. It's like, what the hell are this?
If I saw that in like a charity shop bin, I'd pick that straight up.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I'm trying to figure the other bands it reminds me of, like bands like Acid Rain, Municipal Waste.
Yeah, Municipal Waste.
Yes, these sort of almost parody, sort of thrash hardcore bands, which I'm not too sure if it fits directly into that genre. But we'll
find out.
See, like they just going through some other bits that we've done in terms of research.
Can you tell me in your research, did you find that all the albums have sharks on them?
I don't think they do.
Well, that's stupid. Why put them on 2 and then stop?
I'll have a look at that because I haven't.
Is there any mention of shark theme in there? Did they have like an inflatable shark that came down and during the show?
Well, we'll find out this after we listen to the first side, but. Yeah, it seems like an Eddie or a Vic Rattlehead, or I'm trying to think of some of the other mascots for that thrash bands and of metal bands seem to have.
See, this thing, you know what Gel Braff always said about band logos? It needs to be able to be spray painted on a wall. It needs to be something basic. Drawing a shark's going to be a bit of a task.
Yeah, but M.O.D, you can do it quick.
Oh, yeah.
I don't even know what it stands for. Like, obviously,
What is it? Does it say what it stands for? Does it stand for anything?
Well, that's it. I haven't wikied the band.
Not wikied it. All right, okay. So we are totally blind.
I'm trying to do I've done research around, or as much as I can around the album.
Right.
Which I'll get onto in a second. Do you want to give your thoughts on the back cover?
My first thought, looking at the back cover, is how did their mums let them get a photo shoot done looking like that? The state of the shoes.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's the drummer.
You assume it's the drummer because he's a chubby boy.
He just looks like a drummer.
Yeah.
But yeah, they are just all wearing black, with white trainers, which Teenage Bottle Rocker, headbanger. I can't remember the lyric about wearing. Everybody was wearing black and had big white Adidas trainers. But yeah, they've broken through a wall and they're looking very
They're broken
angry.
through a wall. Some of them look more angry about it than others. There's bricks on the floor to denote the oomph with which they've passed through.
There's one guy who just seems quite happy to be there.
Let's go from left to right. Let's say who we assume they are in the band. I'm assuming the first guy with the long hair, leather jacket, is the guitarist. The guy next to him.
I'd say he's the singer.
Okay. The guy next to him is definitely the drummer.
He's definitely the drummer.
I think this
dirty
fella
trainers.
is the singer. The one next to him, because he's wearing a bit more of a fancy jacket. It's got some kind of pattern on it, and he does look like quite the handsome young man.
Actually, yeah, I'd put it back that way. And then the guy on the right, bass player.
That's a bass player.
Yeah.
And then that's a bass player. You could put him in any lineup in the world, and they would say, that's Kaiser Soze right there, my guy. He's not even wearing high tops.
No.
That's how you can tell he's a bass player. It's like, fuck you, lads. I'm wearing sensible shoes. He's even zipped his jacket up for this. Because if you're bursting through a wall, that's the kind of thing
you might get debris and dust. And like if you look inside the is it on the sleeve notes where there's the before picture where they are just stuck in the wall. Jeez.
So there's a before picture inside.
What I do like is who we think is the singer is posing. He's doing exactly the same pose.
But it's a different photo.
That probably points to the fact that he could be the singer because he cares about the image and stuff. Whereas like some of the others are just like, oh, fuck this.
Yeah, drummer's having a good time. Guitarist just being crazy guitarist, and then.
Well, you see, because the bass player just kind of like, are we done with this?
Oh wow! I bet this sounds so fucking Bay Area thrash.
Yeah,
I bet it does, and I'm all about that.
Well, it's released Megaforce Records, so this is John Zazula and Marsha Zazula, who basically put out so many good thrash records. Like they had Anthrax, they had Metallica on the books. They had M.O.D. They had S.O.D. Stormtroopers of Death. So they had both of those. Overkill, Testament. Like there's a lot of Bay Area bands in there, so we know the kind of thing that we're going to be getting from this. And unfortunately, this is where I'm going to bring this up because we might have to trash all this depending on what we find out when we start doing the wiki. Because one of the other bands who was signed to Megaforce was Lost Prophets. Yes.
Well,
like this is what I'm saying. Like, why isn't this remembered? It's like it could be something like that. I'm not saying it is, but it could be.
I didn't think about
like
that. Yeah, how big's the controversy section of their wiki gonna be?
Yeah. Yes, that's the worry on this. But I suppose we're not doing it live, so we can always can it.
We'll cross that bridge even when we come to it.
So, last thing.
Go on.
88 or 89 this comes out.
Mm-hmm.
So at that time there's Justice for All just come out. South of Heaven, So Far So Good So What, State of Euphoria,
State of Euphoria,
New Order by Testament, Frolic Through the Park by Death Angel, and Survive by Nuclear Assault. So there's a lot of
poor boys
good thrash albums coming out at this time, and that's just from the big sort of bands. Like also during this year there's Dimension Hatros by Voivod, How Will I Laugh Tomorrow When I Can't Even Smile Today by Suicidal Tendencies. You mentioned them earlier randomly. Reputrefaction by Carcass.
Good old Carcass.
Blood, Fire, Death by Bafflery. So not only are there really good albums coming out by the top thrash bands, maybe not the best, like I think a lot of people might say 86 because you had Peace Cells, Master of Puppets, and Rain and Bloods coming out that year. But lots of top tier albums coming out and lots of innovation in the genre. People trying different things. Obviously, you've got like crossover thrash coming out, like DRI and stuff at this time as well. So it's an interesting question. Like, have M.O.D just got lost in the shuffle just because there's a lot of good stuff coming out, or is there a reason why this is not remembered?
I'm excited now.
Yeah. So after doing research, it was like, oh yeah, that is quite interesting because, as well, we've got it on LP. I haven't had a look on Spotify. It's not on Amazon Music. So, again, is there reasons for that? I mean, I've got fucking music on Amazon. It's like, it's not difficult to get it on there. So, like, is there a reason this isn't on it?
Let's find out.
Yeah.
Shall
Should we give a side A listen?
Okay, let's do that. And you people at home can either do that or just wait 1/2 of a second and see what we say. I hope you're enjoying this episode. Looking forward, I'm going to look into getting some sponsors to fill these little gaps here. But just so we're not big fat sellouts living off that corporate teat, if you've got anything you'd like to plug, your band, your podcast, just get in touch with us via the Schrod Pod Instagram, and we'll mention it in these little breaks here. And now back to the show. So that was Sag 1, which was thrashy.
A mixed bag.
You say mixed bag, that might be a bit of a compliment. There were elements to it that were interesting.
They were.
This is like
There's some good riffs in there.
It's like when you get a bag of pick and mix and there's 2 like cola bottles at the top, so you go, oh yeah, but then the rest of it's all just sour.
It's like no, I like sour stuff.
Thoughts.
No, what would I just? I'm more thinking about what pick and mix, and I'm like, no.
Well, we're not talking about your pick and mix metaphors.
Yeah, some interesting things in there, like musically, it's okay.
Yeah, they knew what they were doing. They knew how to play their instruments.
They can play thrash, and like to single out the bass player is very good.
You sure?
Or in my opinion, like, I think obviously playing with a pick, because if you can play with his fingers that fast, then fucking hell, what is he doing in this band? But yeah, there's quite a few bass breakdowns, and he is very good in setting the pace, especially at that speed, with just the bass and not relying on the guitar to do it. So props there. In terms of one of the things I found that made our job a bit easier was at the end of each of the songs, they've written what the meaning of the song is. Yeah, so it's
a pretentious move, but it's also brilliant.
It is. It is. Is it pretentious as well, considering some of the subject matter of these songs?
Well, like, even when you got a song called, what's the second track called?
No
Glove, No Love.
And
then you feel the need to have to explain that to me. You know what I mean?
Especially with, let's look at some of the lyrics, because that was one of the songs where they were, 2 days before the road, we're running to the store, we're loading up on Trojans that were taken out on tour.
Oh my!
And like I have pulled fair play to them from a song of this subject matter from this era. It is not. You have to watch out for women because they're filthy whores and carry disease, which I wouldn't put it past a lot of bands here. It's like, to be fair, the not that misogynistic.
That's the best thing you can say about a metal band in the 90s and the 80s.
Yeah, I
mean,
mean,
weren't that bad that we know of so far.
We start to swap spit. She tells me I'm the king. I say, come on, let's do it. She says we're gonna swing. She starts to rip her clothes off and dance around the room. I hope this thing is safe, or else I'm doomed. And my favourite towards the end. You know, for me, it's been just a crazy night. The way this girl is acting, I hope the mood is right. I grab another Trojan just to play it safe. Now I got double proof just in case it breaks. To be fair, I've got records from like 15 years after this, which basically say about how all women are sluts and everything, and it wasn't acceptable then, and it's not acceptable like in the 80s either. But to be fair, they're not that misogynistic about it. It could be a lot worse, so that's probably the best thing I can say about this.
But on the subject of lyrics overall, they're just not very good.
They're not great, to be honest.
And it's not like they're trying to be like a light-hearted, fun thrash band, and they've cracked it with some dead funny song lyrics.
There are a few what I can see they're getting at, like.
But I can see what you're getting at, and that's good. That are different things.
Yeah, definitely. Like Accident Scene, I think
Accident Scene was the one that I enjoyed the most.
Yeah, because like straight away you're like, it's municipal waste.
What is it, Bill?
Yes,
yeah, that was fun.
But obviously, like the covers or the album covers very municipal wasty.
Yes,
and it's that sort of parody, and
they just keep saying like, we're going to drink some beer and then this is going to happen.
Yeah,
but like municipal waste do that better.
Yeah, like they say, oh yeah, we're going to get into an accident.
Yeah, we're going to watch an accident.
Yeah.
Okay.
And get into one by drinking lots of beer. But yeah, should have worn your seatbelt. The only problem I've got with this song, two issues to be honest. They repeat. To be fair, there's 16 lines of the verse, but they repeat it 3 times.
But they do that with a lot of songs on this side, though, don't they?
Godzilla, they do it with as well. It's like they haven't got enough lyrics.
Yeah, it's.
But yeah, Accident Scene with a weird breakdown in that as well, where it goes like all loungy.
Oh yeah, what was that about? So listen to that track, people at home. Don't listen to anything else. Listen to that one track, Accident Scene, because it's bizarre.
Yeah, it just goes into this weird, and I'm thinking like, is he trying to be like in an AA meeting of like, yeah, this is why I'm here, but or like I'm in AA because I drink and get car accidents. But then he's just sort of like introduced, almost like what's the Gua song with the Have You Seen Me?
Have you seen me?
With the lounge intro there, yeah, it's kind of like that. But yeah, bizarre.
I think they were just so desperate to avoid doing a guitar solo that they filled the bit with a guitar solo with that, because there was one solo on like one of the last tracks.
There was a few solos.
No, Matt, there were bridges with guitars in them.
That's fair
they
enough.
were not like full on guitar solos. True Colours had it in there?
A bit of a. It had a few sort of.
And I'm not
bits
saying
in there,
every song on the album needs a guitar solo, but if you're in a metal band, you should find place for some good ones.
For thrash as well. Seeing as some of these songs are like, we started talking about this like during the listing, where obviously there's a lot of crossover thrash and hardcore coming out at this stage, but these guys are very much still on the thrash side. They've got some humorous elements in there, not to the extent of bands like DRI or Municipal Waste, but they've still got like 4 or 5 minute songs, and it's like, if you're going to be a punk band, you don't have mega long songs. Like you were done in 2 minutes. Yeah. So yeah, but I'll just talk about the last track, E Factor, on this side, which I know you're saying Accident Scene's a takeaway. I'd say E Factor as well, because that feels like the most fully formed song. Okay. Like there's more of a hook in the chorus, which that is what a lot of these songs are lacking. Like I can't, apart from shouting out "No Glove, No Love" or Godzilla or "Should Have Worn Your Seatbelt," those are the hooks of those songs. Whereas, like, at least with E Factor,
got choruses, is there?
Yeah, with E Factor, it's eat, eat, never cry defeat, against 10,000 strong, firmly plant your feet. Eat, eat, you're not the only one. We carried out our plans, never to succumb.
Awful. This
is the E Factor. Like, it's not great, but there's a hook and there's a melody there.
Not a good hook.
It's not great, but it's the best that's on this side, apart from Better or Should Have Worn Your Seatbelt.
Yeah, and when we got to Godzilla, and it was like, a song about Godzilla, this will be fun, and it wasn't fun. I just checked out. No, this isn't gonna win me over.
Especially it was the second song in a row where they'd just repeated verses as well, and it's
this is what makes me think. I said this to Matt. I think this is someone's side project or someone's little brother or one of Scott Ian's mates, because
it says in the
notes that they got all the gear from Scott Ian. That's why they sound like Anthrax. They do vibe like New York punky guys. I think they're someone's friend.
Someone's friend or a side project. Well, on that segue, should we put the second half on and do our
research,
our wiki,
yes,
our 5 minutes wiki of
Let's do that. Check back with us soon. I hope you're enjoying this episode. Looking forward, I'm going to look into getting some sponsors to fill these little gaps here. But just so we're not big fat sellouts living off that corporate teat, if you've got anything you'd like to plug, your band, your podcast, just get in touch with us via the Schrod Pod Instagram, and we'll mention it in these little breaks here. And now back to the show. Well, I'm not happy.
You're not happy with that?
I was right though, wasn't I? So they're not a proper band, even though they have many albums and have been together for a long time.
They do seem to be a band. I'm not saying it's an oversight on my part. I tried SOD.
Yeah.
I'm not keen on them.
Well, I never listened to them really, because I saw the first album was called Speak English or Die, and I was like, oh.
And I know it's supposed to be tongue-in-cheek and parody and everything, but it's it seemed a bit in your face.
And I read the wiki, and it said, Scott Ian found they had 2 days left in recording studio after they finished the last Anthrax album, so said, fuck it, I'll do another band. And I was like, well, you're going to throw a band together in 2 days and record a whole album? How good's that going to sound?
Yeah, I've tried it. It's not.
But this is my problem with M.O.D. This is just a band that's like, all right, well, we've got some time left in the studio. Scott Ian's got these songs that are kind of okay. No one else in Anthrax wants them. No one else in SOD wants them either. So they've filtered down to the very bottom of the pile. Do you guys want them?
Yeah, it does seem a bit odd. Is this Billy Milano's because is SOD his main band and this is his side project? But it's almost like the SOD is this the side project of the side project, or is this his main band?
It's a side project of a side project that's only still going because it's loosely attached to Scott Ian. I'm guessing he must have hung around as a producer or something, and just
I think he may have produced some of the albums
and said this will sell because my name's attached to it. Yeah, people bought shit back then just because of who was involved. Yeah,
I can see that. I mean,
but musically speaking, that second side was just dead to me.
It was all over the place. It was
not one thing interesting on there, not one.
I think there was some better songs on the second side, but not as memorable. I could maybe glean maybe 3 tracks off this.
No, I was gone. Honestly, not one part of that spoke to me.
So, how many out of 10?
Oh, fucking -1.
-1.
I want to be nice as I can be and say, I'm sure if you're a hardcore thrasher, then this is going to be something that's you're maybe going to listen to every now and again. This is no one's favourite band.
No, this is no one's favourite band. And apologies to anyone who
says otherwise, but you're wrong.
But
get a better favourite band.
Yeah, one of the things I don't get about it, and this is probably going to be, I don't know if it's this album or if it's the band as a whole, there's lots of songs on here that seem to be taking quite a sort of serious sort of side of, this song's about being yourself, being true to yourself.
They're trying to make songs about something.
Yeah. Songs about an eye for an eye because gross misconduct and everything. There's quite serious subject matter that it's dealing with, but at the same time, there's accident scene which keep coming back to, and it's how can you have fair enough, you can have it both ways, but the tone seems to be all over the place.
It doesn't work if you try both ways, then.
Yeah, there's too many songs that don't have any hooks, which I get, again, it's punk and thrash, but you still have a hook, you have something to latch onto on the song. That second side is all over the place, like you say, though. There's 2 songs which are under a minute, one which is 2 lines, if that.
Vent was pretty good because it was just short.
It was 13 seconds.
Yeah.
So that was your favourite track off side
B? Yes, definitely. And
No.
then they threw a fucking ghost track at us as well, didn't they?
Well, I think there's just somehow there's not enough room on the LP to put the song about Batman on there, which I find like dead weird as well because, like, fair enough, like I Am the Law, 2000 AD's always had a bit of a cult following, but this is like Batman before the Tim Burton movie.
But it's Dark Knight in it, which is the
Frank Miller.
Frank Miller, thank you.
I was
Yeah.
thinking like Dick Miller. It's like, no, he's in Gremlins.
But yeah, that was like a big deal at the time, wasn't it? So Scott
That's
Ian's
true,
obviously
yeah.
a comic book guy. But I'm glad it wasn't listed on there because I would have sat through the whole thing we'll just get to the Dark Knight song, it'll all be worth it, it will all be worth it, and it wouldn't be worth it because that was 6 minutes and 3 of it was just like fucking all over the shop, different style of music intros.
They did have the 60s Batman theme.
That was okay.
Reprise as part
I
of the
like
song.
that. Yeah.
You like
I like the bit when they said Dark Knight. But again, like, just write a chorus. Oh god, that sucked. I hated that. I did not enjoy that. How dare you make me listen to that?
So in terms of takeaways from this album, like, is it literally should have won your seatbelt?
Take away from this album is take it away from me and put it in the bin. The cover was really good, though. I mean,
really good.
write some songs about sharks, not necessarily sharks that are judges. Just, you know, uh-oh, here comes a shark. It's gonna bite us in a park.
The weird thing as
It's
well.
a lark. Yeah, it writes
where
itself.
The shark's almost like a secondary mascot.
Oh, that's so confusing to me, yeah. So this Hear No Evil, Speak No Evil guy's the mascot.
Yeah, it seems to be. Like, he's
And
on the first album,
but
and the shark is wearing a shirt with him on
Okay.
the EP.
But he's clearly a knockoff of Sergeant D from Stormtroopers of Death, isn't he?
Yeah.
So it's, as well as this band being a side project of a homage to I Put My Friends on Your Label, Please, they've also totally ripped off the mascot from a band that were the side project of the main band.
Yeah.
Oh god, so you must have pictures of someone to have this band going for so long. Honestly, you know, he said there was a song there like the guy who runs the label was on the
John and Marsha are on there.
Yeah.
That was a bit of fun.
He mates with them, and then he's just like out of pity. He's like, well, no one's in the studio on Tuesday.
That song,
come in on Tuesday and record an album.
That song, to be fair, that should be like a B-side. That shouldn't be a filler album track. That's the B-side to the single. Like, look, we've got the owner of, or the owners, John and Marsha of the label. We've got them singing on, and it's Billy Milano singing about himself.
Yeah.
Which again, this thing I don't get, because it's a bit misogynistic, but it's almost a bit like 60s, like tongue-in-cheek farcical, where he's like, it's not like I Save the Damnbles and Maidens in Distress and what is it?
The song is the theme, is it?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what the song's called. People at home.
Literally called theme, not even theme of Method of Destruction.
It's just called theme.
Yeah, it's I protect all the fair maidens and damsels in distress. He does. Yes, he does. I try and comfort you, but first take off your dress. You good. Oh, so good. And it's like, it's almost a bit like bawdy, like what does he call it? Like Benny Hill type. It's not even
thrash Benny Hill.
Like I'm not.
Hate to see that.
Again, I'm not advocating it. It's not like fucking like Guns N' Roses or trying to think of some other bands like Motley Crue.
Yeah.
At this time, like being like really misogynistic, and it's like, yeah, like you're here for my pleasure and shit. It's like it's always being quite polite with it, which is like, yes, but I don't get it. It says that this album's trying to be a bit more commercial and to tone down the subject matter. I don't know if it's part of that, but it doesn't work. It doesn't work. There's not many takeaways off this. Like the accident scene.
Even then, like, I'm not going to listen to this ever again. Never.
No, like, put on Municipal Waste. Pretty much, that's the takeaway from this album.
Exactly. This whole episode's subtitle is going to be, why don't we just listen to Municipal Waste instead?
Yeah. So, again, we haven't really worked out a rating system for this. I think we should keep it simple. It's either, as you say, it goes in the bin.
On the shelf or in the bin.
Yeah, on the shelf or in the bin.
Bin. What about you?
Bin.
Yeah, okay, right. This is definitely one of those things you bought and you brought it home. You'd be like, oh, dude, weak.
Yeah.
Like, oh, no. What have I done?
Yeah, this is... Yeah. This is like a purchase of regret. This is like you try and take
Purchase
it
of
back.
regret would have been another good name for this podcast. Purchase of regret. That'll be the official label. Okay, so it's a regret purchase. But we gave it a go.
We gave it a go, and
Now you don't have to, people at home.
have we learned anything? No.
Don't trust albums with sharks on the cover of them.
There was another album with a shark on the cover, which may get reviewed later down the line, but it's not as good.
All right, well,
the cover's not.
Let's wrap that up there. I think we said what we meant to do. Let's keep the series going, and let's you at home keep the series going as well. Check out the tophatsandcanes.com and our social media. Drop them in that, yeah. I would like us to have an official sign off for this. What's our catchphrase going to be?